Were you told you were shy? Do you identify as shy? Do you hate that word now? Do you just wish you could get over it and get on with your life? Welcome to Shining Beyond Shy, empowering you to create a greater life than you ever thought was possible. With your Shining Beyond Shy host, Fiona Cups. Hi everybody, Fiona Cups here, your host for Shining Beyond Shy. How does it get any bigger and better than this? So I am calling this week's episode Never Enough. Never enough. So I don't know about you, but for me, I had no idea of this, but the tools of access consciousness, which I've been using for now 9 years, have made me really aware of this, that one of the factors that caused the abuse that I had from some of the people in my family was that I was so different that my point of view was there's never enough. And it makes me laugh as I say that. And I've been prompted in this episode actually by just having a conversation with a very beautiful friend of mine, Geraldine Ling, because I was like, what am I going to talk about this week? And then it was like, oh yes, never enough. And yeah, I have the sense. So one thing at a time, Fiona, my mind's going in all kinds of different directions. So one thing at a time. So I was just saying about my dad, basically, mainly my dad. So my sense is that the point of view that I came in with was there's never enough. Okay, so this is great. This life that I've chosen here is great. And I want more, I want more. And that was so threatening to both of my parents, actually. They both came from, from working class backgrounds, different types of working class backgrounds. And they actually, both of them in their different ways, made good, quote unquote. But that making good had limits. So they came to a kind of a very nice, in their opinion, middle class limit. And I had a very comfortable upbringing, but they weren't willing or able to go beyond that. And I was like, okay, it's great, but what more? But what more? And I was just talking to Geraldine, how about basically I've chosen to be I'm currently in Zagreb, Croatia. And I chose to be here because a couple of months ago, I was here for a class with Dr. Dane here. And I absolutely loved Zagreb. I loved the buildings. I loved the vibe here. And I also loved that I could dance here. So when I was here in November, I went dancing a couple of times and just loved it. And it's a type of free-form dance that I danced a lot in Yorkshire. It's called Five Rhythms. Some of you may know it. And it's just a chance to express, enjoy, and enjoy some more. And I was like, well, I could be, actually, when I say this, some of my friends are like, no, you couldn't be anywhere in the world, Fiona. But I could have been in Egypt, I could be in Turkey, I could be in Montenegro, and particularly Egypt and Turkey, pretty warm at the moment. And now I'm in Croatia with its kind of like around zero temperatures. And last night I was dancing and I've got plans to dance some more. And I'm just like, I love it. I love it. And it's funny because this time last week, I got chatting to one of the women at the end of the class and she's like, oh, wow, I love dancing with you. She's like, your enthusiasm, you're like a little girl. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And then she was like, did you know there's something on Saturday? And I was like, no, that's great. I'm going to come. And she's like, oh, I wasn't sure, whether it would be too much to dance twice in such rapid succession. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, oh, that's my point of view, never enough. And I was saying to Geraldine, oh, I'm now planning to learn salsa as well. And I've done a little bit in the past, but basically I'm a beginner. And so that means that I'll be dancing 3 times a week. And I was like, okay, that's great. And what else? And yesterday I was swapping access consciousness bars with a lovely lady who I don't know that well, but it was really fun just spending time with her, another facilitator from Croatia. And it was such fun swapping bars, and tomorrow I'm swapping bars again. And I'm like, okay, that's the beginning of my life. What else would I like to add in? who else can I add in? What more fun things can I add in? And it's so funny because one of the things that I realized with COVID, or that I was, I realized, actually, I'll be honest here. So Dr. Dane here, the co-founder of Access Consciousness, was talking about this and it resonated with me. He's like, one of the things that COVID is designed to do is to get us to be away from each other. So all our friends, all the people who we love to be around, it's designed to isolate us, to separate us. And I realized, so some of you may know, I spent a lot of last year traveling in Montenegro and in Albania. And particularly Albania didn't suit me, but it was always, oh, it didn't suit me at all. Look out for my upcoming book, Albania the Crazy, where I share some of my totally crazy, sometimes for me quite unpleasant experiences. And it's almost like I realize now I have the point of view, oh, I need to create an online business because the business that I had, which was basically live classes, isn't sustainable. Who knows whether you can do a live class or not. It's like it may look like you can do a live class one moment and the next the country or the place is shut down. And so I realized that I needed to build something online. And it was almost as though I had the point of view, oh, I'll be in these countries, particularly Albania is really cheap. And I will prioritize not spending much and creating my business. So one of the things that I found difficult in Albania is that people are quite subdued, actually, let's put it like that. And there isn't much sort of, I mean, this is a big generalization, and probably there are going to be people listening who are like, I know people who are creating masses in Albania. Of course, this is a big generalization, but it wasn't very lively being there. And I realized that in order to create my online business, it's much easier for me to be in a place where other people are creating and living and enjoying. And this was one of the other things that prompted me to come to Zagreb, where people are living their lives, they're creating, they're enjoying, they're dancing, they're moving, they're doing stuff. And sure enough, it is totally contributing to my business. But I say that, maybe that's helpful for you to see, oh, actually COVID is designed to isolate. And this time last year, it was almost like I didn't have the ability, I mean, that's a lie, but I'll put it like this. It felt like I didn't have the ability or the consciousness to, well, to choose beyond that, to leave Albania, to leave Montenegro is a little bit similar for me, and to find somewhere that would, where the energy of the people and the place would actually contribute more to my business. It may be that this is just the time for me. This is just the time to be stepping up and out there more. So just see what's true for you. But the main thing I want to say here is that when I was talking to Geraldine, I was like, yes, it's great that I have these new things in my life. Yes, it's great that I'm not isolating myself. Yes, it's great that I'm way more connected with way more people and enjoying way more. And you know what? It's not enough. It's just not enough. It's like at the end of last evening's dance, I was like, I could carry on dancing. Or, okay, what about tonight? Where's the dance tonight? And yeah, it's like I have energy. Oh, my body's moving and saying yes to this. I have energy for more in my life than I currently have. And so just see if that's true for you, because for a lot of us who've experienced, or who have, let's put it like this, who have developed shyness in response to what was going on for them in their childhoods, a lot of us actually desire way more. And yet we've kind of habitually got ourselves into this shut down place of choosing less in the hope that we won't attract attention, in the hope that we won't be belittled, we won't be made wrong. And actually, it's a recipe for not enjoying our lives. And for me, that was what led to the complete collapse with chronic fatigue syndrome. I wasn't enjoying my life nearly enough. Isn't that great? You can have all these theories for why you get ill. And it's like, oh, in the end, I wasn't enjoying enough. There wasn't enough that was fun for me to kind of keep me on this planet. And it's not, I mean, I have actually read that some people do die from chronic fatigue syndrome. I wasn't near physically dying from it, but my life was just not fun to live, really not fun. And really, if we have found ourselves in this position of habitually creating less, and you know, the shyness story will kind of contribute to that. Oh, I don't dare to go out and talk to people. Oh, I don't dare to go out and do that. Or beyond that, I'm not the sort of person who can do that. Oh no, I'm shy. Shy people don't do that. And it may be that you do things in a different way from other people who may be genuinely more outgoing. But what I found for me is that I find my way with this. It's like one thing that COVID is showing me is, what's my way? What's the way that's true for me? How do I create my life? And I'm still absolutely learning this. I feel like I'm a beginner at creating my life. But I get that it's more essential than ever before to be creating, to be enjoying. I mean, what's the point of being here if we don't enjoy ourselves? And there's a lot of energy on that. So all the energy that brings up, only where you're buying the COVID lie or the lie of our planet, this reality on our planet, that we're here to survive, will you destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if we're not here just to survive? What if we're here to totally enjoy? And what if one of the things that leads to that enjoyment for us is that continual expansion, that continual desire for more? And I remember my mum, and I say I remember, my mum's still alive and she has Alzheimer's, so I probably couldn't have this conversation with her now. But for a lot of my life, she kind of actually made me wrong for choosing different things all the time. And then when I found access consciousness, she was like, oh, that's brilliant, that's great. Then she was like, knowing you, you'll find something else next year. So all the energy that brings up, anywhere that you've been told that and reacted against it, or aligned and agreed with it, and you're like, yes, I am doing a bit, blah, blah, blah. Truth, will you destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And she was kind of teasing me about it, and some of her judgment around it had gone amazingly. And funnily enough, of course, I've actually stuck in a way with access consciousness. But the great thing for me about access consciousness is that it's about change. It's about changing all the time. So when I started access consciousness, I wasn't facilitating around the voice and confidence. I hadn't created Shining Beyond Shy. This is something that I've chosen in the last 6 months or so. This time last year, I was doing something different. So it's like, no, I haven't needed to go and retrain in something completely different as I used to. But access consciousness gives me that space for continually having something different. So if you recognize yourself in this, here are some questions that you can ask to help you have the more that you're asking for. So what more can I add to my life? What more can I add to my life that would be super fun for me? And if you're looking for money, what more can I add to my life that would be super fun for me and would create and actualize me money too? So anything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, receive that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That's the access consciousness clearing statement, which destroys and uncreates the energy that's sticking you. And you can read and watch more about it at theclearingstatement.com. Okay, I think that's everything for today. But really, it's like, I know for me, when I started Access Consciousness, I actually resisted this thing of you're always looking for more, add more in. It's like I resisted it. And I think that was partly because I'd had chronic fatigue syndrome, and the received wisdom around chronic fatigue syndrome is slow your life down so much that you'll just about be okay, you'll just about survive, do less. And I kind of bought that. And for a while, it was the only way that I could function, by doing less. It kind of worked. I mean, it worked to keep me trapped in a small life, but it kept some of the misery away from when I overdid things and used to feel awful for days. But it wouldn't have worked for me in a long time, hence why I found something different and why I am where I am now. But beyond that, I think probably, even if I hadn't got so ill, I think beyond that, I would have found it difficult anyway because of my upbringing. So basically, as I said, my parents' point of view was, we're really lucky, we're really fortunate, we have this middle-class lifestyle, now get on with it, enjoy it, but don't risk it. Oh, there's a lot of energy on that, so let's just do that. All the energy that came up when I said, don't risk it, don't risk everything that your dad and I worked hard for. All the energy on that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So we're born, well, this is my sense, see if it's true for you. People like us are born to move forward, to continue evolving and growing. And for a lot of people, that may appear risky. Is it actually risky, or is it just the way that we love to live our lives? Well, I hope that this has been really useful for you. If you like it, please like it. Not rocket science. If you like it, please share it. Who else could benefit from hearing this? Who else would this be useful for? Please feel free to share it. And if you are really suffering from shyness, then I invite you to download my guide, 5 Steps to Overcoming Shyness, wherever you are. And this will set you on the path of starting to overcome shyness, reclaim your life, and shine beyond shy. Okay, that's all for now. I will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I'm so grateful for you. It would be great if you could subscribe, great if you could leave a review wherever you're listening. And if you'd like some quick, simple tips to overcome shyness wherever you are, please go to my website, fionacuts.com, where you can download my free product, 5 Steps to Overcoming Shyness wherever you are. Thank you again, and see you next time.